Welcome to another video episode of my podcast. My name is Cheryl, and this is Cappuccino Crafts, my little channel on YouTube and my corner of the general interwebs where I like to talk about knitting and sometimes crochet and a lot about books and maybe some TV or movies and other life and general chatty things that I want to share with you. Thank you so very much for choosing to watch this video and spend a little bit of your time with me. I really hope that you enjoy it. Yeah, I needed a break last week, so I just did not record anything. I spent my time that I would have been recording and editing reading, which was great. Because I am really doing well in the readathon and having a great time with that. And I'm loving the books that I'm reading. It's also been very busy, which is important things are getting done. So that's great. Things that got pushed to the side during the last year and that need to be caught up on, and so that's going well. I'm feeling good about that, but it has been busy. I haven't done any crafting. This is mostly just going to be about reading. So let's get to it. I finished 4 books since I last talked to you all. And I just want to show you a little bit my notebook for the Orilium Magical Readathon. And right now we are on the Novice path. Here are the prompts, and I have completed 4 of them. Only, strictly speaking, you'd be fine if you only did 2, but I'm really excited that I have done a little bit more than that. And I looked at her map that G made in the printables, and I just kind of did my best to make an approximation just so that I could have a little visual for the continents and the small, not quite a continent size in the middle. This is Orilium, and this is where the magical school is. And so yeah, the book that I finished today and the first book that I started on September 1st. So this is kind of a meaty book. It's got nearly 500 pages, not quite 500. So it took a while, but I kept at it, and I finished Snow Queen by Joan D. Vinge. And I love this book. This is amazing, epic space opera with so much world building, so many wonderful themes. Talks a lot about colonialism and capitalism working together. Also, just wonderful feminist reflections and feminist characters, and yeah, and this is very much an epic hero's journey that one of the main characters, Moon, goes through. And Moon kind of is a chosen one. You really feel that more in the last half. But she kind of does turn into a chosen one, and not in a bad way. Not in the like, oh, it's another chosen one. No. This is very fresh. This does not feel tired or old or cliche. And it's wonderful to see a female hero's journey. I haven't read that very often. And she is the one that rescues the boy / man. They're very young at the beginning. They're adults by the end. And so good. So good. And the prose is beautiful to read. There's some amazing scenes with incredible descriptions and you can visualize. Well, if there are people that don't visualize when they read, but if you do get pictures in your mind when you read, and your brain does make images for you, there are some fantastic and wonderful images and scenes and places. Yeah, it's so good. So good. And my prompt that this fulfilled was the ash-torn tree, which is read a book that keeps tempting you. And ever since I bought this book several months ago, I thought I would get to it right away, and other things kept getting in the way. And it took me so much longer to actually pick it up than I wanted it to. So this was always like on my mind, like, but I want to get to that one. And so I was, by the time I finally did this September, I was so excited to pick it up. And then I finished Circe by Madeline Miller, and that audiobook, I listened to it from my library as an audio loan, and that is returned back to the library now. And I loved Circe. I loved Circe so much. It was just so beautifully written, and I just, I'm having trouble talking about it because I just loved it so much. It really, she as a character in mythology, her story really does kind of weave in and out of a lot of major events, and she interacts with a lot of important people or characters in Greek mythology, gods and goddesses and humans and demigods. But so it really does give you, through the weaving of her story and through her perspective, kind of a little bit of a tour through some major parts of Greek mythology, and I loved all of that, and I never felt lost. Madeline Miller made sure you you understood who all the people and gods and goddesses were, and their relationships to each other, and how the stories all interconnected. Well, because she was connecting them all through Circe. And I loved the character of Circe. I thought she was an amazing, amazing character. And this book was also very reflective. She's exiled on her island, so there are extended times that she is alone, and she is learning her craft. She is thinking and planning and reflecting on herself and her role, and the other gods and goddesses, and it's just, I loved being in her head. I loved her as a character. I loved how reflective this book really is, and all the characters were really well fleshed out, and I just want to gush. I want to gush about Circe. It is amazing. And Circe fulfilled the... Sorry, I closed my book. I should have kept it open. Circe fulfilled the Tower of Rumination prompt, which is read a 5-star prediction. And it was a 5-star prediction for me, and it totally met that expectation. So that is fabulous. I also finished Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire. This is from her Wayward Children series. This is the first book in that series. It is set at a boarding school for children or young people who have traveled through doors to different portal fantasy worlds. So they all have had portal fantasy journeys, but they all have been returned to this world. So that was really traumatic for them, because when they traveled to these portal fantasy worlds, they were like tailor-made worlds that they felt much more at home in then in this world, that's part of why they were able to travel there, because there was something in them that was kind of calling out to that fantasy world. So they did not want to leave once they got there. But for various reasons, all of them did have to leave their fantasy world. They returned to this world and they all just want to go back. They want to get out of this world. They want to go back. Their families don't understand them. They're traumatized. They don't feel like they belong here. They don't want to belong here. So this boarding school is to help them reacclimate to this world, to help them adjust and deal with the trauma of having to leave a place that they were so at home in. And this first book, I don't know about all the books, but the first book in this series is also a murder mystery. Murders start happening at the boarding school, and so it's a little bit of an isolated murder mystery. You know it's got to be someone at the school, but you don't know who. Students and staff start being killed, and so there is that aspect of the isolated murder mystery and the boarding school setting. So all of that atmosphere and the mystery really made this feel like a wonderful book for the fall season. I think fall is just a great time to read this book. It fits the mood, it fits the atmosphere. I enjoyed it. It's a novella, so it's short and it's fast-paced. I do feel like I almost wish it had been a little longer. So in some ways it felt a little underdone for me, for my preference. But I still enjoyed it. And my favorite thing about it was the atmosphere and the tone of it and the boarding school. Like, I love all of that. So that was very enjoyable. And I read another shorter book, The Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu. And I listened to this on audio from the library, and Every Heart a Doorway I had from the library too by audio. So they're kind of like novella length short audio. It was great to just be able to really get through them, but really enjoy them. The audiobooks were well done. This I finished just a few days ago, and it is fun. It's another mystery. There's a mystery to solve. Ropa, the main character, and she is the only point of view. It's told directly from her perspective. She has, as a character, she has a very distinctive and strong character voice that the author was really able to create for her. And she also has a very particular sense of humor. So if you do not quite click with her character voice And if you do not appreciate that kind of humor from her, then this is not going to be an enjoyable read or listen for you. But I got along fine with all of that, and I also enjoyed the atmosphere. This is set in Edinburgh in the future after some catastrophe. It's not specified what it was, but things have kind of collapsed, and in the new order, Scotland is ruled by a king. And everybody, the required standard greeting for everybody in public is, God save the king, answered by long may he reign. And Ropa is a teenager. She lives with her grandmother and her younger sister in a caravan in a old farm. The land isn't being farmed anymore. The farmer is now letting people rent spots or spaces to park their trailers or caravans. So it's a farm turned into a caravan park, and they're really struggling for money. Ropa dropped out of school, and she is now scraping together money to pay for the rent for their spot in the caravan park by delivering messages for the dead. Ropa's grandmother she practices Zimbabwean traditional magic and is very knowledgeable about the spiritual world. Ropa has inherited ability, and Ropa sees ghosts of dead people. She sees the dead spirits, and so she is able to communicate with dead spirits, and for a fee, she will deliver messages to living family members or whoever is alive that the dead person wants to communicate with. And so the family or the person who gets the message has to pay for the message. And so they're scraping by, but it's rough, and there is a ghost that approaches Ropa, and her family cannot pay for any messages, but she desperately wants to communicate with them, and she also wants Ropa to help find out what happened to her son before this mother died. Shortly before this mother died, her son disappeared. And so she really wants to know where he is he okay, what happened, and she really wants Ropa's help, but she can't pay, her family can't pay. But Ropa reluctantly gets drawn into this case, and she ends up having to join this secret society of magicians that she learns about to get access to their underground secret library. And there she meets a friend, Priya, who becomes a big helper in this investigation and adventure. They find out that it's not just the one child that's gone missing. Children around Edinburgh have been going missing. A few of them have come back after a time. Any of them that have made it back are strangely unwell, and it's pretty bad. They're not okay. So they investigate, they go on this adventure to stop whoever or whatever is doing this to these children. It's fast-paced because it's short, it's exciting, it's fun, and I enjoyed it. I really liked Ropa's relationship with her grandmother and her little sister. She loves her family so much, and that is what drives her to do everything she can to take care of them and make sure they have enough money and they get their food. Her grandmother gets her medications. They don't have to move their caravan. And just that family bond and her friendship bonds with her new friend Priya. She also has a friend she used to go to school with before she dropped out named Jojo. I love all of that. The friendships, the family, the characters are fun. And yeah, I enjoyed The Library of the Dead. This is a series, so I do want to continue reading in this series. Yeah. So these last two books that I finished, I forgot to tell you what prompts they were. Every Heart a Doorway was the Orilium Academy ARC prompt, which is a book with a school setting. So that was perfect for that prompt. And The Library of the Dead fulfilled the prompt of Ruin of the Sky, which is a book with supernatural beings, with a supernatural story, supernatural elements. So yeah, those are all the prompts that I completed. And I have 2 books I'm still reading. I am still progressing on Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. Excuse me. I'm nearly a quarter of the way through, and I am really liking it just as much so far. So far, I like it just as much as I liked Assassin's Apprentice. And things are starting to gear up now. Starting to see what the things are gonna take shape and what they're gonna have to try and deal with. The politics are intense as always, and yeah, it's really good. I am also still reading A Coin for the Ferryman by Megan Edwards and enjoying it. It's very entertaining. Right now, it really feels like an academic soap opera, like a ancient history academic soap opera. Things are messy. This team is messy, and there are secrets and betrayals, and I think it's gonna get yeah. So yeah, but it's fun. I'm having fun with it. And I am enjoying the characterizations and the characters there. It's not what I usually read. It feels like a thriller almost, like an academic thriller. It's not really science fiction forward, but it's fun. I do like a good thriller, so I'm not mad about it. And these characters are really messy in an entertaining and exciting way. And I think once things really hit the fan and it's going to be intense, and I think it's going to be fun. I hope. It might also get emotional. Yeah, but that's where we are today. And if you're crafting or doing other creative things, I hope that your creative projects are going well, and I hope you're enjoying what you're reading and that you're finding some new favorite books. I hope that you and your family and all of your loved ones are well, and talk to you next time. Bye-bye.